Y'all, hey, welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for stopping by. Y'all, look, we are oot and a boot. We got places to go. We got people to see. And I know, y'all are like, look at you trying to be all chill out, driving around in not your car, acting like ain't nothing up. All right, I tell you what, y'all go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you can keep up with the shenanigans. I'm gonna pull up here, get us turned around and get us on the road, and then I'll tell you what we're up to, where we're going, and why I'm driving, not my car. All right, so y'all do that, and I'll be right back. All right, y'all, so we are oot and a boot. We are in the intern's car because my car's a little bit broken, which if you saw my last food and fitness video, y'all heard all about it. That, well, I won't go all back into that story, but my car's a little bit broken. It's at the shop right now. They have narrowed it down to really there's nothing wrong with it. They checked it out, checked the codes. It didn't throw any kind of nothing. So they're changing the battery because y'all know, you know how it does that thing where it won't start on like the first or second or like 400th try. So I carry the jump pack with it, which like lights the intern up to like no limit, because he's like, you shouldn't have to carry a jump pack, blah, whatever. So anyway, it kind of doesn't always start. He's like, your car's got two jobs, start and drive, and it only does one of them. I know. Anyway, so they did the thing. They had it up on the rack. They checked it out, said they couldn't find anything wrong with it, got it down off the rack, and it wouldn't start. And I was like, well, maybe it's not really dead. Maybe it just needs a jump. And he just looked at me, and I was like, all right. So anyway, they're putting a new battery in it, and they're changing the oil. So we got to go get it after that. But anyway, the point of all that is we're driving around in the intern's cop car, which, y'all, this car is so much smaller than my car, but I don't know, it just doesn't fit me. Like the seat's too big, or it's too low, or it's too deep or something. So I don't know, I feel like I'm driving my daddy's car or something. Like I have to sit all leaned up, and I apologize for this like weird view that y'all have. Anyway, so we're driving a not my car. I just went and had a little human grooming done, and I got to run to, go figure, got to run to Kohl's and return some stuff that I got. Did I tell y'all? So I got this, I know you probably can't even see this. I don't even know like where you're looking right now, but I got this cup warmer, and it lights up. So you set the cup on it, and it's got this ring around it that like lights up and flashes and does all kinds of things. Y'all, it is so stinking hot. Like I have regular cup warmers because I drink coffee like all morning while I'm working. And so I have cup warmers that I set my coffee cup on. Well, nowadays when you buy like a cup warmer to set your cup on, it just doesn't get hot enough. So I found this one that's like the freaking face of the sun hot. Like I tried to adjust it and tried to like make it like it was going to be okay. Y'all, it is so freaking hot. So that's got to go back. I have a couple other things that have to go back. So I got to go to the Kohl's and drop that off. And y'all, our Kohl's has a Sephora inside. So I got to get into the Kohl's, not buy any of their like marked up 200% so we can mark it down 90% stuff, not buy any of that stuff, not fall for any of those shenanigans. And y'all know how I'm a sucker for a shenanigan. So I got to get past all of those, and I got to get in and out of there without hitting the Sephora. So there's that. And what else? Oh, that's it. That's all we got to do. So I did my human grooming. I got to run to the Kohl's. And then you know what I think we're going to do? I think this is our plan. And you'll know because you will have seen the thumbnail. I want to do, we have not done a tag in a while. And I was thinking so last year when we did the mid-year like freak out tag or whatever it was, I was like, we gonna do that every year. I don't think we're gonna do that this year. I have a couple, ooh, that light is right in y'all's eye holes, isn't it? Sorry, there's nothing I can do, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna be done in a second. So I've pulled a couple of tags. I have just like a random 20 tag, and then there's maybe it's like a fall tag or something. So let me run to the Kohl's. And I tell you what, I will tell y'all if I buy anything at the Kohl's, but I'm really gonna try to like hit it and quit it, just do my Amazon returns and get out. But it's the Sephora that like sucks me in because they have the best lip gloss there. So Let me see if I can get that done without getting anything, but I will be honest and let y'all know. And then I'll get us back to the house. We'll get set up with the furry felons and we'll do some tagging, all right? So let me get this done and I'll see y'all back at the house. All right, y'all, we have obviously made it home and it is such a lovely day here in the Northland. Listen, the wind's not, like you can hear it a little bit. The leaves are rustling, but the wind's not even really blowing. So I thought we would sit outside and enjoy this lovely fall weather before it goes to absolute hell in a handbasket and enjoy the swingy chair and talk about some books. Now, I wasn't going to tell y'all this, but I didn't actually make it to Kohl's. Y'all, I am the literal worst when it comes to returning stuff. Y'all saw, I had this stuff in the car. I was on my way to Kohl's to take it back. And it's not like I don't want to return the stuff. I'm not trying to keep it. I just got waylaid. That's all. I was going to Kohl's and I looked on my friend finder to see where the intern was because I was thinking after I finished running my errands, I could go trade cars with him because he wanted to drive the cop car today, but he ended up driving his truck instead because he less hates the idea of me driving the cop car than of me now here's the wind because I said it wasn't windy, but he really hates the idea of me driving his truck. So he let me drive the cop car. So I was looking to see where he was because he wanted to drive the cop car. So I was going to see once I ran my errands if he wanted to trade cars. Well, I saw that he was at the house, so I got all excited and I called him and I said, hey, are you home? I'll be there in 5 minutes and we can trade cars because I'm done with my running around for the day. Y'all, I was not done with my running around for the day. So after I got off the phone, I was like, I'm an idiot. I forgot to go to Kohl's. So I just came home. So that's an adventure for another day because now we're in our swingy chair. It is lovely out. There's a nice breeze. You know what? Hang on. I'm going to go ahead and go get the dead cat because if I don't, then there's going to be this, it's going to like mess up my audio and I'm going to be mad when I go to edit. So hang on. Even though I really don't think I need it, I'm going to go get my wind thing for my mic. So y'all just hang on a second. All right. After what I'm sure is going to amount to like 20 minutes of real life, I'm ready to talk books. Now I brought an iPad out so that I have the tag list on my iPad. I have no idea if I'm going to be able to see it because of course the sun is bearing down right into my eye holes. So let's just see how it goes. So we're going to start off, like I said, I have I think it's called like, I don't know, I think it's just called 20 questions or something, but it's from Chloe at the Elven something. Hang on, let me see if I have the title and if I can read the title. It's from a blog called Chloe from the Elven Warriors blog is where the 20 question tag came from. And then I have a fall tag. I don't know where I got that, but let's just jump straight in. So question number 1 is, how many books are too many in a series? That's a great question, to which I have a really bad answer. Typically, I get bored of a series when an insipid female character really starts to drive me crazy. Like, and I only recently realized that like that's the key thing to me to getting sick of a series like what is it? The Divergent, Insurgent, whatever that one is. I made it to about halfway through book number 2, and whatever the main female character is, she was just, to me, was just so like, and I know it's about her, but I don't care. She was just so like self-centered and annoying. I made it through book 2, and by book 3, I was like, just like, and y'all, I can say this because it is a fictional character, but I was like, good Lord, just die already. Like, just be done. Just become a martyr, be a war hero, whatever you got to be to get out of this freaking book so that I didn't have to read about her anymore. So I didn't realize then that it was this like annoying, insipid female character thing that drove me crazy until the Inheritance games. And y'all, the main character again it's that, I can't think of the girl's name, but because I read all of these books so long ago, but the main character who inherits she is named in the will of this like uber wealthy dude that she doesn't know, like knows nothing about him, has never even heard his name before until the grandson shows up and is like, hey, you're in this will, you got to come so we can sort this thing out. And so like we go through the whole adventure with her, and book 1, I was okay with her. Book 2, I was like, you're a bit much. And then by book 3, I was like, Lord have mercy, somebody do away with her. Like just, and I didn't need for her to die, but I just needed for her to go away. So I don't have a number of books because there are series that I've read that were like, y'all know where we're going, Beartown. There are only 3 Beartown books, but I mean, it's probably, I don't even know, 3,000, no, it's not 3,000 pages. It's probably 2,500 pages of Beartown, and y'all, I could just eat that up with a fork and spoon because there's not that like annoying, insipid, self-centered character, and there's Benji. Like as long as Benji's in it, or as long as we're going to see Benji, or there's a chance that Benji might show back up, I'm down. So my awful answer to a simple question is, I don't think that I have a number of books as long as the characters are interesting and the story is still building. But here's my caveat. Once a story ends, let it go. Like Beartown ends. Like at the end of The Winners, it's over. And I don't think that, is it Frederick Bachman? I always get his name wrong. I think it's Bachman, but I think I call him the wrong first name. But it would, he doesn't, I've never known him to do this. He doesn't go back and do like the prequels, but that drives me crazy. Like once you have a successful series, don't go back and write prequels, just leave it alone. Let it be what it is. If he went back and wrote prequels to fill in blanks in like the history of the characters that we love so much, it would break my heart. I mean, I wouldn't read them, but yeah, that would, the wind is here. I'm glad I went and got my dead cat. I hope it's helping with my sound. But yeah, I don't have a set number of books in a series. When the series comes to a natural end, let it go, and do not write prequels. Prequels drive me insane. So, y'all, we're not going to spend 20 minutes on each question, I promise. But that's question number 1. Question number 2 is, how do you feel about cliffhangers? Very good question. I love a good cliffhanger. Every one of my questions, like every one of my answers is a horrible answer to a great question. It's a great question. Here's a bad answer. I love a good cliffhanger. I hate an obvious, like overdone cliffhanger, like when you know that, and now there are things flying overhead. Hear that? Like when you can tell the cliffhanger is there just to be a cliffhanger, that annoys me a lot. But I enjoy a good cliffhanger. It's going that way. I enjoy a good cliffhanger. I like a cliffhanger that you see coming, and so you anticipate it a little bit before it gets there. So you're like, oh, they're gonna do this and that, and then they do it, and you're like, son of a beaver. So, but then I find them torturous, especially, I assume the question is, how do you feel about a cliffhanger that like leaves you hanging on to the next book? So I find them torturous waiting for the next book. Like Butcher and Blackbird left us hanging, waiting for Leather and Lark. And now Leather and Lark has left us hanging, waiting for the next book, which I'm on attack waiting for. And, oh my goodness, y'all, Divine Rivals. Oh, the cliffhanger at the end of that one. Okay, I think that tells you how I feel about cliffhangers. And what is it, Iron Flame? Seriously, that one, is that the one? Something comes out in January. Is it the next Iron Flame book that comes out in January? Something's coming out in January. I'm stoked. No, maybe it's the one, the Leather and Lark, the next one of that. Anyway, I like a good cliffhanger. Hardback or paperback? Yes, please. I love a good hardback. I love a good paperback. And y'all know, many books, I will have the physical book, either the hardback. Typically, I get the trade paperback, so I do not like mass market paperbacks. I don't know why. I just don't like it. So I like hardbacks. I like not mass market paperbacks, and I like audiobooks. And typically my audiobooks are Audible. They're the Amazon ones. So it is not uncommon for me to have the physical copy of the book. So like say the trade paperback, especially if it's a beautiful book, even if I've already read so if it's a book that I'm super excited about, like let's just say The Winners, for instance, the third book in the Beartown trilogy, I said I was not going to read it. I said that I wasn't going to do it. We weren't going to discuss it in book club. I wasn't having it. I wasn't going there. The day that it dropped, I got up early, and y'all, I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning for work anyway. I got up 2 hours early for work that day so that I could read before work. So I got the Kindle version. Y'all already know I'm crazy. I don't know why I'm acting like telling you this is like revealing my crazy. I got the Kindle version, started reading before work, and then I had pre-ordered the physical copy, but I live in not the middle of nowhere, but like on the edge of nowhere. So towards civilization from actual nowhere, but it takes a while for things to get here. So I started reading the Kindle book. I had the physical book on the way, and I might or might not drop in here so where I'm sitting now, the chair that we had at the time was actually like over there, and there's a Ring camera right there, like the light kind is right there. And there is Ring video of me. So at the end of The Winners, so I had the Kindle book, the physical book, and I got the Kindle. No. I had the Kindle book, the physical book, and I got the audio version because towards the end of the book, y'all, I was so despondent. I couldn't read anymore, but I didn't want to stop. So I got the Kindle version, and I was like pacing around the house, and I couldn't stay inside anymore. So I came out here and was just sobbing at the end of that book. And like I texted the intern, he was still at work. I texted him, I was like, hey, when you get home, when you see me, you're going to think somebody died. Nobody died. I'm reading Beartown, and it's the end of the trilogy, and there's a lot going on. So when he came home, like it was a few hours later that he got home. So I had calmed down. I took a nap, calmed down, woke up, was still crying, but I was able to speak at least. So he walked in the house. I was like, hey, did you get my voice or my text? And he's like, no. And he walked in, and I'm sobbing. He's like, what? And I said, and I held up the book. He's like, oh no. So I told him what happened. I said, I'm surprised the neighbors didn't hear me crying and call you. And he said, you were sitting outside? And I said, yeah. And he said, oh, so that means there's video. So that was his first thought, was that there's video of it. But anyway, thank goodness for the intern, because there is video of me sitting outside listening to Beartown, the end of Beartown. Anyway, it's an exceptionally long answer to yes, hardcover, yes, paperback, yes, Audible, yes, all of the above, yes, Kindle. And yeah, if I love a book, I will have all of the above. So y'all, we're on number 3. Here we go. Sorry, my iPad keeps locking. Favorite book. Oh my goodness. How do you choose? It's like choosing your favorite child, says the childless cat lady. Okay, so y'all know that I love Beartown. So we're going to exclude Beartown because, and y'all know, like, it's like Phoebe with the oatmeal cookies, Phoebe on Friends with the oatmeal cookies, when she makes the oatmeal cookies that time and her friends are like, oh my God, these are the best cookies ever. And she says, yeah, I know. And they're like, why don't you ever make these? And she says, because it's not fair to all the other cookies. We have to exclude Beartown because it's not fair to all the other books to include Beartown in a conversation about your favorite book. So my favorite book depends on, it's just, I have the worst answers to these questions because they all depend. It depends on my mood. Like, I loved Fourth Wing so much. I always love the most recent Emily Henry book that I've read because I think probably because she's young, I guess I don't know how young she is, but she's young. So her writing is still developing and her style is still developing. And I feel like every book of hers that I read is markedly better than the one before. So like every Emily Henry book that I read, I love more than the book before. Classics that I love, I don't know that any book has broken my heart as much as The Great Gatsby did, because I think that was the first book to ever truly devastate me. I mean, other than like, I mean, who didn't sob at Old Yeller, right? Like those books, but that actually like, there were things in Gadsby like that, him trying to be something for people who didn't deserve him. And, you know, when you read that in high school and you see that in a character that you love, like that's hard to see. And it's hard to watch someone go through that. And I think that like I developed an getting like all philosophical about Gadsby over here, but I think Gadsby broke my heart in a way that like that can only happen to somebody young. You know what I mean? Like it was such a, like it was the first time that I understood something like that in a character, I think. So Gadsby, I think, holds a place in my heart. And every once in a while, I'll still read. I mean, I read Gadsby not infrequently still. And every once in a while, the end scene will come, will like, I won't, somehow I'll forget, like, I mean, it sneaks up on me a little bit and I'm still like taken aback by it. I love The Great Gatsby. Modern books that I love, again, it's always like the most recent books that I've read, but if I go sit in my office right now and start pulling books off the shelf, I love The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I love, my book club is reading, we're still, y'all are gonna laugh because we've been talking about this book for months in videos, but we're still reading Project Hail Mary because like we meet once a week and then we talk about like 20 pages of the book and then somebody can't meet one week and somebody can't meet the next week. So it's taken us forever, but we love the book, so I don't care. But I really enjoy Project Hail Mary. It's a great book. So I have different favorite books depending on when you ask me, but all of those are only part of the conversation because we have removed the Beartown trilogy. Otherwise, it's Beartown 100%. I love Beartown. I love the characters. I love and I'm going to limit myself. I should time myself. I'm going to limit myself to a minute to talk about Beartown. But I love the characters. I love the feeling of the community. I love the realistic small town politics that happen. I even love, there's a part, I think it's in book 1, Beartown, where it is book 1 because something happens and then factions of the town turn against each other and it is absolutely vicious and it is so truly small town politics. I love the real, like the authentic feel of that. I love the hockey. I love the closeness of the team. I love the importance of the team to the people. I love the fact that there are grown people in this town that have lived there their entire lives and that the most important things to them are their town and its hockey club. I just think it's all fantastic. Did I already say I love the characters? I love the characters. Even the characters, like as you read through the books, there are characters that you love and characters that are there only for you to hate. And even the characters that you learn that you need to hate, they're so well written that you despise them. And the series breaks your heart over and over and over again. And you just keep going back for more and just loving the town. And that's why I love Beartown. That's why Beartown is my 6 out of 5 stars. So that was favorite book. Least favorite book is the next question. We have at least it's not book, right? Like when we talk about a book that we don't like, I say, well, at least it's not Peace Like a River. I hated the book Peace Like a River. I disliked it a lot. And part of the reason I just didn't like it. I thought it was just I just thought it was a bad book. I didn't like it. But I think one thing I didn't like about it was that there was a character in it that I liked. And then about, I don't know, a third of the way through the book, he disappears. And the whole rest of the book is about trying to find him or something. I can't even really remember now. It was like, I don't know, 3 Christmases ago that we read it. But it is still at least it's not Peace Like a River. Like that's my bad book to refer to when we're talking about a book that's not good. But so it's Peace Like a River. Did I finish saying what I was saying about that? There's a character that I liked, and then about a third of the way through the book, he disappears. So he's not in the book anymore. So then you have to work your way through this just absolute pablum book, trying to find this character, hoping that he's going to show back up. Anyway, Peace Like a River. I also did not like there are a couple of books that people loved that I didn't like. I did not like Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow for a couple of reasons. One, the it was so, to me, so overblown that I think I expected it to be one of those like page turners, like you can't put it down. And you know what? I should back all the way up, and I'm not going to edit this out because I want to leave in what I've already said. I think I've misspoken. I don't think I really disliked it. I think I was disappointed by it for a couple of things. One, it was so, like people whose opinions I often agree with and whom I really respect, whom I really respect, spoke so very highly of it that I expected it to be just fantastic, and it was just okay. And I've talked about this before, Zevin, I can't think of Andrew, and Gabriella Zevin, I don't know where I got Andrea from, the author, and this I will absolutely argue this to my grave. She shoves like social justice issues into that book just so that they're there. And because that bothers me so much, and I point it out, I try to sort of make examples of authors that I feel do that well, because I don't have issues with that at all. Like if you write characters who are like socially aware and it makes sense for those characters, I think that's fantastic. Is it Ali Hazelwood? There's one that I think it's Ali Hazelwood that does it very well, but she builds that into the character of her character, if you will, so that when the character comes out and like starts lecturing somebody on, and they don't lecture, but says something about, that somebody is being marginalized or whatever it is that she says, it makes sense coming out of the mouth of that character. Well, Zevin in this book, in Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, will just all of a sudden like have a girl kissing a girl just out of the blue when there's been no indication and no suggestion of, anything like that in the character of this character. So I just found that insulting, and it annoyed me so much. And I don't know, it just had me like, I was just taken aback by that, because I did enjoy the book, and there were other things about the book that I thought were positive. And then that I was just like, ugh. So I was disappointed in it. And then she started doing those things, and I was just like, whatever, I'm over you. So Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, I was disappointed in. And then Red, White, and Royal Blue, that was just 100%. It was just trying to shove a political agenda in your face and down your throat. And it was I just felt it was awful. And that was another one of those that, and y'all come at me if you want to, I don't even care. But I felt that people, because it was the male main character was gay and ended up being in this relationship with another guy, I felt like maybe people felt like they couldn't pan it because of that, because they would end up looking some kind of phobic, which y'all, I'm not. And I think that trying to avoid speaking honestly about a book just because it deals with those kind of issues, that's phobic. So there are many books that do those things well. This is just not one of them. And it just shoves it. And it's not even that. Like, I thought the relationship was cute, but just all of the trash around it just made it so bleh. So Red, White, and Royal Blue, hated it. And that's one of those that I, honest to goodness, like I don't tend to not finish books. I understand when people are like, life is too short to read a bad book, 100%. Like, to me, life is too short to write with a crappy pen or to drink cheap coffee. Like, I don't drink coffee I don't like, and I don't write with pens that I don't like, just because that's my thing. If your thing is not finishing a book that you don't like, I 100% understand and respect that. I guess maybe it's because I'm a teacher and I assign books to other people. I feel like when I pick a book, I assign it to myself. And especially if I want to talk about it, I need to finish it. Because there are books that the ending of the book will change my opinion of the entire book. So we had one of those not long ago. I can't remember what it was. But the Andrew Clavin Christmas book is definitely like that. So Red, White, and Royal Blue is one that if I were one to DNF a book, I most likely would have DNF'd that one. But I F'd it, and it wasn't lovely. So those are my least favorite books. Love triangle, yes or no? So love triangle, like somebody cheating on somebody else, no. I no tolerance whatsoever. Maybe just because I'm old, and maybe when I was younger, I would have had more tolerance for that. I ain't got no time for none of that. Fortunately, I think you can avoid a lot of that in previews of books. Like if you just read a summary, you know, if like somebody's stepping out, I just don't read those books. Now, a love triangle, like, you know, so and so used to like Mary used to date Bob, but they broke up, but she really loves Bob, but now she's dating Joe, but Joe's really just her like Mr. right now because she can't be with Bob right now. I guess that's not really a love triangle, but I'm totally down with those because as long as she's not using Joe to get over Bob or to make Bob jealous, because I think that's just trashy. But and if she is doing that, as long as she gets her comeuppance, like as long as she don't get away scot-free on that, I'm okay with that. But the like her, like a girl dating two guys, and especially if she's cheating or a guy doing that, I'm not down with that at all. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about love triangles, because that could go somewhere shady really quickly, and I just don't want to go there anymore. Yeah, we're only on number 6. Number 7 is most recent book you couldn't finish. I don't think I ever don't finish books. There have been books that I didn't want to finish, but I finished them so that we can talk about them. Because again, I think that in order to review a book, you need to like, I mean, it's a work, right? A book is an entire work. So I think that in order to review it and discuss it, you need to be able to discuss it in its entirety. And I know that some people, even people that talk about books, if they really don't like a book, they'll DNF it. But, and no judgment, but I just feel like for me, an author has created that work in toto, and I think that you have to take it as such to be able to discuss it. So I don't not finish books. A book you're currently reading. Love this question. I'm reading a few books right now. One of them is The Encyclopedia of Fairies. Y'all, I love it. I'm vlogging it. We're going to talk about it, so I'm not going to say much. Well, I just said too much. I just said I love it. Is that too much? Anyway, I mean, you'll know as soon as you see me start reading it and talking about it. It's so good. It's so cute. It's so charming. So Encyclopedia of Fairies, and look how cute it is. So we're going to talk about that together, so I'm not going to say another single word. The last book I recommended to somebody, well, I don't know if this counts as me recommending, but the intern knows that I'm obsessed with Beartown. So through my obsession and recommendation, he recommended Beartown to his friend Sarah, who borrowed my books and is now in love with Beartown. So like wants to go live in Beartown, and like I do. So Beartown. Oldest book you've read based on publication date. This is a sketchy question for me because a couple of my college degrees are in religion. And I studied Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And I learned to read biblical Hebrew, to read ancient texts. So I've read, now, not like the actual scrolls, right? Like not the actual like papers, but I've read some really like beautifully old ancient texts. And I've read some, I should look and see how old, like the Bhagavad Gita and some really old texts. So I've read some ancient texts I've not read the Gita in the original, but like I've read some ancient Hebrew. I'm sure the Hebrew texts that I've read are older than the Greek texts that I've read, but I don't know how old they are, but I'm absolutely certain that those are the oldest texts. I guess it doesn't say in their original language, but the translations of like the Bhagavad Gita and those that I've read are much more recent than the original texts that I've read. So I've read some really old like Hebrew texts. That just got so nerdy so fast. Let's move on. The newest book I've read based on publication date, I read the Emily Henry book, the one Funny Story this summer, and I'm going to get these mixed up. I just read Bride by Ali Hazelwood and the Abby Jimenez one just for the summer. So those are all, I think those were all summer releases. Was Bride a summer release? I feel like that's a recent one, but I just recently read I think those are the most recent releases that I've read. And then because I dug back in, remember I just read the Atlas 6 and got into some older stuff. So yeah, I think those are my recent releases that I've read. Favorite author. It's a rough one because we've talked about this. I have a list of like automatic, when they drop a book, I read it. Emily Henry, Ali Hazelwood, Abby Jimenez, anything Butcher and Blackbird. Now not anything by, I can see her name and I can't think of it. The Fourth Wing, like that series, that's gonna read. The Onyx, whatever it is, the next one is the Onyx thing. So I have like a handful of authors that as soon as they like drop something, I mean, at least it goes on my TBR if I don't read it right away. So my mean to reads. So yeah, I don't have a single favorite author, but I have a bunch of favorite authors. And then again, depending on the mood that I'm in, what I want to read, that's the one that I love at the time. Buying books or borrowing them. I buy books, I borrow them. So I'll check them out from the library, like the Libby library or Kindle Unlimited. That's a biggie for me. So, but that's borrowing, right? Because you read it, and then when you're done with it, it sits on your shelf until you have 20 books on your shelf and you want another book and you got to send them back. So you do not own them. So that's borrowing. So I buy and I borrow. Book you dislike that everyone else loves. The very tippy top of my list is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. I'm just going to leave that there. Y'all, for the love of all that's holy, bookmark or dog ear. Why would you dog ear a book? It's like cutting off your friend's fingers. Like what? I'm literally speechless. I tell you what. Mark my words. If you want to never, ever borrow a book from me ever, let me see you dog ear a page. Or, oh, saints be praised. Even worse, I don't have a book out here and I wouldn't do it to one of my own books anyway. But like, say a book is like this, right? And you're like reading. You're like, oh, I have to do something. And you set a book down like this. What in the actual name of all that's holy is wrong with people who do that? Like, why would you do that to your books? And y'all, if you're going to defend that behavior, do not even do that in my comments. Do not even talk about doing that to your books in my comments, because books are our friends and that is not how we treat our friends. That is all. I am done. We're moving on. I wish I were kidding. I'm not kidding. A book you can read over and over again. I mean, Beartown, except that it breaks my heart. I have read Beartown a few times. I've read Us Against You, Us Against Them, whatever, the second one. I've read that one a few times. I've only read The Winners twice because I cannot. We've talked about this before, that me with The Winners is like, old folks will remember Gilda Radner. Well, Gilda Radner was a comedian, and she was on Saturday Night Live way back in the day. She was one of the Not Ready for Primetime players back in like the 70s. And she did Gilda Live, I think it was on Broadway. And somehow it must have been on TV or something, because my sister and I, that's the intern, my car's probably ready. Hang on, I'll be back. Right, I'm gonna have to stop talking when the intern gets here and go get my car, and then we'll finish later. But so Gilda did this Gilda Live, and one of her, I think it was Lisa Loopner was the character, talking about when she saw A Star Is Born. And now she'd seen it like 5 times and she cried every time. No, she'd seen it 5 times and she cried every time, but she really cried 6 times because she saw it so much and she loved it so much that she cried on the way to the theater to see it the 5th time. And then she cried at the theater the 5th time, so she cried 6 times. That's me with Beartown, like trying to read The Winners. Sister Gayla, if you are watching this, you can acknowledge in the chat, I was trying to read it to discuss it at book club, and we were sitting we had this rented house at Christmas, and my dear friend Gayla was sitting in the room with me, and I was trying to read, and I was sobbing so hard that she was like, I can't even be in a room with you right now, and got up and left the room because she couldn't be there with me reading this book. So anyway, I can go back to Beartown over and over and over again. Oh, y'all, you know what? We might could finish this before the intern gets here. I'm in a hurry. Can you read while you listen to music? Yes, but not music. Like if I like the words to the music, I can't. So often I'll read and listen to classical music, or go ahead and judge me, I'll listen to like rap music or something in a foreign language because I like the beat. It helps me it helps my brain move faster, but my brain doesn't concentrate on the words because I don't know them, like the words of the music. So it just helps my brain move along without trying to focus on the music, without getting distracted. So yes, multiple POV or one POV. I used to not like multiple POV. I used to think it was lazy, but now I really like it. Do you read a book in one sitting or over multiple days on average? Almost always over multiple days because I don't think I read quickly, and I don't have like long blocks of time to sit and read. So yeah, so it takes me a few days. Generally, it takes me a few days to read a book. So, okay, well, the intern's not here yet. So that's our 20 books. 20 questions. There's only 19. I don't know. I lost a question, or maybe there was a question that I didn't like, so I just left it out. What book always reminds you of fall or autumn? We talked about this, y'all. And there are some that just always remind me of fall that I can only read in the fall. But dark academia makes me think of fall, or fall makes me want to read dark academia. And I think because at least the dark academia that I'm attracted to or that I'm drawn to are set in New England, or like somewhere in that like cold, wet area of the country. So, and y'all, I know that it's not always fall in New England. But New England makes me think of fall. Y'all stop it. I just realized how ridiculous that sounded, but it just makes me think of fall. So that's what that is. Oh, my favorite autumnal book cover. I'll have to find it and we'll go back to that one. What's your favorite autumnal drink to read with? I drink the same things all the time, but tea. I like a nice black tea to drink with. I guess that's not really autumnal, is it? Which is weird because fall, like football season, is my favorite season. Mostly because look how lovely it is here. And like the weather is perfect, the temperature is perfect. And in the Northland, in the spring, when it's this same temperature, it's mud season. Like the mud is this thick because we've just had like 4 feet of snow melt. And in the fall, there's no snow melting typically. And it's football season, go Dogs. So nobody asked me my favorite season. I'm just telling you. Autumnal read. Do you prefer to read late at night or early in the morning? Okay, I have to air quote late at night because I go to bed early. So late for me is early for the rest of the world. I recognize that. Like I have the sleep habits of like a 6-month-old. I go to bed early and I get up early, but I like to read at night before I go to bed. And I cannot read books in the morning because I get up and I go straight to work. So I read at night, or I at least open a book at night. And sometimes I fall dead asleep with the book just open, and it's a Kindle, of course, but with my Kindle on in my bed. And the intern, bless his heart, used to come in and be all upset when he'd find me in the bed with my glasses on. He'd wake me up and be like, baby, take off your glasses. But like naturally, I just wake up and like take off my glasses and put my Kindle away without even really waking up. So he has realized over time to just leave me alone and I'll figure myself out. Because again, I go to bed early and he stays up with the big kids. So much of a look into our lives. Anyway, so I like to read at night. Halloween is coming. What is my favorite spooky read? So I think maybe, y'all tell me in the chat, those of us who have read Ninth House. No, yeah, yes. I think, so there were some scenes in Ninth House that scared the pants off of me. And partially because, y'all, I'm grown. I'm scared of the dark. I don't like the dark. And there were some dark scenes in that book. Now the house is making noise. See, I know. Okay, the intern's here. I got to go. But Ninth House scared the bejesus out of me. And that's another one that I can go back to over and over and over again is Ninth House and Hellbent, even though Hellbent's a little bit of a lot. So let me go. I got to go get my car and I'll come back and we'll wrap this up. All right, y'all, I got my car. We're back. Let's wrap this thing up. Can y'all see the furry felons are back there? I brought them outside on the off chance that they're not going to act like, well, felons. So let's just see if we can get through this without them doing anything crazy. But as always, I just disavow any knowledge of anything that they do behind me because I ain't got no control over them when I can see them, let alone when I can't. So we talked about multiple POVs, right? That I used to not like them. I thought it was like a cheap, easy way for the author to sort of go back and forth between characters without actually having to do any authoring. But now I like it. So yes. Oh, we did all that. Hang on. Where am I? Oh, we're in fall already. My favorite autumnal eating snack. Reading snack, popcorn. It's my favorite reading snack all the time because you can eat as much of it as you want and it's always 0 points. We talked about favorite spooky read. That's where we left off. What's your ultimate comfort read? Y'all, can Beartown be my answer for Daisy just took off? We made it like 42 seconds. Can Beartown be my answer for everything? Okay, no, it can't. How about this? I enjoy series that take me back to towns with people that, like, with my friends, like Beartown. But I also like continuing series like the Knock 'em Out series, the Things You Never Get Over, Things You Left Behind, Things That Go Bump in the Dark, whatever it is. Because even though, all right, hang on, let me get them felons. Hang on, I'll be right back. We made it almost a minute with them. Anyway, so I like series that where you can go back to towns that you know with people that you know. So like Knock 'em Out or the Elsie Silver books, where even though it's not the same characters, like the characters that you know from one book will be peripheral characters in the next book, but you're still in the same town, so it's the same feeling, and that's very comforting for me. So those are comfort reads for me, even though they often make me cry, but that's okay. When you're not reading, what is your favorite autumnal activity? Watching football and shopping for books. Y'all, I'm not even kidding. I'm such a nerd. That's all I do. Like we watch football and I work a lot. So like I'm always either working or like filming something or planning to film or editing video. So I plan those things so that they're done, or at least I have like a break on a Saturday so that I can watch football. And then, yeah, I'm either like shopping for books or like go to bookstores or like online shopping for books or thinking about books that I want to read. And then the next one is, what is on your autumn or fall reading list? We've talked about my TBR. Right now, y'all know I'm reading the Encyclopedia of Fairies. And then, so we need to circle back. I'm actually tying things together. We need to circle back to my autumnal, like book with my autumnal book cover or whatever. I looked before I came back out here for a book with an autumnal cover. Apparently I don't do autumnal book covers. I have a few books that have an orange cover, like The Great Alone, which it's not autumnal. Like that one slams you straight into winter because that's the one about the family that the daddy, I think the book starts off, he's just come back from Vietnam and he has PTSD. And I'm not sure if he was, I'm not sure if they tell us that he was violent before he went, but when he comes back, he has some tendencies. So things keep going wrong. He keeps losing jobs and stuff. So they decide that they're going to go and take a homestead up in Alaska. They're somewhere down in the lower 48. So they head to Alaska. And so like at the very beginning of the book, you go to Alaska with these folks. So that's not autumnal, but the cover of the book is lovely and it's orange. And y'all, that book will rip your heart out, eat it in your face, but you love it so much you keep reading, and then it'll rip your heart out again and eat it in your face again. So that's a Kristen Hanna book, and that's what we call getting Kristen Hanna'd. When a book is so sad that it like rearranges your molecules, that's Kristen Hanna. So The Great Alone, that's like orange. I've got The Priory of the Orange Tree, which I've not read word one of, but I assume it's about some kind of priory and an orange tree. That's got an orange cover. But then I was like, you know what? Dang airplanes. Autumn or fall reads for me are Halloween books, because I read Halloween books until, like, as soon as the weather starts to turn, I start reading Halloween books. And then after Halloween, when it's time to read some like Thanksgiving books, usually I'll read like one, and then like I'll, like last year we read A Pumpkin and a Patch or whatever it was. And then I'll get through one of those and then jump straight into Christmas books. So I'm going to read Vampires of El Norte. This is probably my next read, so it's on my TBR. And this is my autumnal book cover, because y'all, I know it's not like all like leaves and orangey and stuff, but okay, I have no defense for it being autumnal other than vampires. Y'all, this is Vampires and Caballeros. I seriously can't even. I'm so excited. This is one of the books that the intern picked for me last year for my birthday, and it ended up in a stack, and I just never got to read it. So I'm going to read it now. It's going to be one of my Halloween reads. So maybe I'll even read it. So I'm almost like just past halfway done with the fairies book, the I almost said Vampire of Fairies. What does that even mean? Encyclopedia of Fairies. I'm like over halfway done with that. So I'll finish that pretty soon here. And maybe I'll go ahead and read this for that vlog. So we'll talk about fairies and vampires in the same vlog. I know. Anyway, so this is my TBR. And then we got to read at least one fall book. So probably, we read A Pumpkin and a Patch. There's something about a pumpkin and a pain. I don't think that's right. But we talked about it. Oh, it was on my Kindle. It was in my Kindle haul. I'll stick it here. It's a pumpkin spice and not so nice. No, that's not it. Nope. It's a pumpkin and a something. I'm going to say it's a pumpkin and a pain. I don't know what it is. I'm going to stick it here. But maybe I'll read that as my transitional. Remember that? He's supposed to be her transitional one. Was that Sleepless in Seattle? Anyway. That'll be my transitional book to get us into Christmas books. And then, y'all, it is on. So we're doing Encyclopedia of Fairies. We'll read Vampires of El Norte for sure. And then probably whatever that pumpkin and a pain, pumpkin, that's not right. But anyway, whatever it is. So that'll be our fall TBR. And y'all, I think that's it. Let me check the list, but I think we're out of here. That is, in fact, it, y'all. So I tell you what. Go ahead and let us know in the comments. What are you reading now? What are you reading for the fall? Do you have reading plans for the fall? Or do people, I keep asking this, do people actually do that? Like, do you change what you're reading for the season? Or is that just like what crazy people like me do? Let us know in the comments. Y'all, thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you made it this far, we are most definitely friends. So go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you can keep up with the shenanigans. I upload food and fitness videos at the beginning of every week with some book videos sprinkled in between. See you on the next one.